Hi everyone, welcome back to another video in the Web Security Academy series. In today's video, we'll be covering lab number 1 in the WebSockets module titled Manipulating WebSocket Messages to Exploit Vulnerabilities. If you do not have an account on the Web Security Academy, you can get one by visiting the URL portswigger.net/websecurity and clicking on the sign up button. I already have an account and I am logged in, so to access the exercise, I'm going to click on Academy. Select all labs, do a search on WebSockets, and then select lab number 1 titled Manipulating WebSocket Messages to Exploit Vulnerabilities. Alright, let's get started. This online shop has a live chat feature implemented using WebSockets. Chat messages that you submit are viewed by a support agent in real time. To solve the lab, use a WebSocket message to trigger an alert pop-up in the support agent's browser. So the target goal over here is to exploit an XSS vulnerability in the WebSocket implementation and trigger an alert pop-up. Alright, let's access the lab. Now notice over here, this is the built-in browser in Burp, and so all my requests are already being passed in my Burp proxy. I am using the professional version of Burp, however, I'll only be using the features that are available in the Community Edition, and so you could just complete this exercise using the Community Edition. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is click on the live chat feature. Now notice over here, it calls the /chat endpoint, and then it calls chat.js. And then over here, it looks like it's using WebSockets. So it switches to the WebSocket protocol. And so anything that we type here, so let's say hello, and click on send, it'll actually be stored in WebSocket history and not in the HTTP history. So if we go down right over here, this is the first request to the server. We say ready, and then the client says you're connected, now chatting with this person over here. And then what we say is the message hello, and then the client responds with our message. So the client responds with the user being us and the content being the message that we had just typed in, and then displays it on the page. So right away, I'm seeing that the input that I put in the message box is being reflected back to me in the application. And so this definitely needs to be tested for cross-site scripting. But before we do that, let's look at the rest of the requests. So this is coming from the server to the client. It says typing, and then another request from the server to the client saying the user Hal Pline is saying, I would like to apologize for the delay in answering your question. I was watching paint dry. Alright, so this is interesting. The first thing I want to do is test for cross-site scripting when it comes to this message right over here. So the message that I had sent to the server got reflected back to me into the application, and so it should be tested for cross-site scripting. And the way to do that is really simple. We'll just add a really simple classic XSS payload. So we'll say image source is equal to 1. This is a source that doesn't exist, and so it will error out. And when it does error out, so we're going to say on error equal to alert 1. So pop up the alert message. And that's pretty much it. So let's hit send right over here. And it looks like it did not alert. So let's go back over here and see the requests that were performed. So if we go over here, you'll see that it was URL encoded. So the lesson sign was URL encoded, the quote was URL encoded, and then the greater than sign was also URL encoded. And so it wasn't really viewed as client-side code. So what I'm going to do is see if that defense mechanism is only available on the client side and not on the server side. And the way to do that is just intercept the request, turn intercept to on, and then in the message just say hello, hit send. And then what I'm going to do is just copy this, put it in here, and then forward the message. And it looks like my chat has ended. So if you don't respond within a certain period of time, it looks like the chat ends. And so we're going to need to do this really quickly. So let's go back to live chat over here and turn intercept off. This looks good. Let's turn intercept to on, say test over here, and then replace that with our payload, and then forward, and it ended again. Okay, that is really quick. I could do it in Repeater where I connect to it, but I should be able to do it through proxy as well. So let's go to live chat. Again, let's just copy this, intercept to on, say test, hit send, and then replace it over here. And then forward the message, forward it again, and intercept to off. And here we go. We get a pop-up with the string that we put in the alert function. Click OK, and you could see over here it says, congratulations, you solved the lab. All right, so we successfully completed the exercise by exploiting a cross-site scripting vulnerability in the WebSocket functionality. In the next lab, we'll look at another case of a WebSocket vulnerability.